knee replacement surgery, and she's got to go back to work on Friday, and her knee is still killing her. So keep her in your prayers for continued recovery. So
okay, we certainly can do that. Nira, because you're such a quiet and reserved and unassuming young lady, would you shouldn't start to show off with a lie, Dan. It's just not good precedence. Oh boy. So, when we last left our heroes, we were just figuring out that it's not the world's responsibility for the church being in the condition that it's in.
True that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's say when the state trooper pulled the people over who had gathered, they said, "Look, we didn't wreck the truck. We just picked up the stuff that it fell." So.
Mm-hmm. We have met the enemy, and he is us.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And actually, if you don't mind, Brother Wolf, the proper way is we have met the enemy, and they is us.
And they is us.
Because that's from Pogo. A comic strip back in the 60s or 50s or something. But anyway, that was the quote. That's the first time I remember that quote, and that's why I remember that quote. So it's they is us. And that's the issue. They is us.
And we don't want to admit that they is us.
No. Not only do we not want to admit it, but as we get closer and closer to the truth, we get farther and farther away from the solution.
Yes, we do. We don't want the solution. Because the solution means we have to change, and we don't like that.
Well, yeah, we'd rather... I think the overwhelming majority of the church, corporate, is still trying to dip their toes in the water rather than diving in full baptism.
But
if that makes
wait
any
a minute,
sense.
You mean that finding Jesus doesn't mean that a man is never wrong again and his wife and kids have to do exactly what he says all the time? That's not what that means?
Listen.
I'm trying to convince Linda that.
So listen. Here's the problem with this whole finding Jesus thing. Have you found the Lord? Well, the question itself is wrong. You're asking the wrong question. You do not have to find that which is not lost.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So people out there, evangelists, street ministers, stop asking people if they found Jesus. He's not Waldo.
I saw one of the funniest videos that I think I've ever seen in my life. And it was a woman who considers herself to be an atheist. And she just says, I just keep seeing all these people asking if they found Jesus. If he keeps eloping like that, why don't you just put a leash on him? Like, he just keeps running away. Like, why would you do that?
Exactly.
I laughed so hard, I think I almost peed myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you keep thinking about it like that, he just keeps running off.
Yeah. And it's our own fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's our own fault. Oh my goodness. My relaxing Memorial Day, the beautiful day where I sat around the house and did nothing and just contemplated my navel, was actually me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, picking up a car hauler trailer, heading down to Connecticut, coming back to the house, loading up a vehicle, headed down to Connecticut to drop the vehicle off. While I'm down there dealing, hanging out and dealing with the owner of said vehicle and getting all the paperwork together, and then coming back and, which is basically, it's a 100-mile trip, by the way, in case you're wondering. It was 101 miles, and then getting from there to where I was going added another 30. I basically got home 8 o'clock Monday evening or it was at 8:30 or something like that Monday. Yeah, because Raw had already started. So it was like 8:30 when I finally got home. That was my relaxing day. Okay? And
I laid carpet and put up a wall, so.
Okay.
We had fun.
Yeah.
And I proved Wolf wrong because I was able to fit pieces of plywood in my minivan, and he didn't think they would fit.
Well,
I told her I will never question again.
there you go. There you go. I have a degree in packing.
I played Tetris.
Yeah, I'm a master packer, and I have a degree in it, and I'm actually certified, and I'm actually qualified to grant master packing status to those who are worthy. So I have to next time I'm around you, I have to view you packing and see if you qualify to be an official master packer, which gives you all the rights and privileges thereof and allows you to grant master packing status to those you see who are master packers. So
Well, the fact that I've moved an entire 3-bedroom apartment into another 3-bedroom apartment using only a minivan, I think I'm pretty good.
You may well be good, but you have to have confirmation. You have to have somebody view it who holds the status. And since I have the status, I'm just saying I can grant you a temporary permit. Just until I have a chance to verify, so I can do that. But
do I get a car placard like I do?
Well, not until this has to be verified and has to be officiated, and I have to pronounce the rights over you and everything. You must be anointed as a master packer, but
gotta lay hands.
Yes, I have to lay hands and the whole bit. It's very serious now. We take this very serious.
Oh yeah.
So just but you're on the list, okay? You're on the list of a potential, and it sounds to me like you may in fact qualify, but we have to have the proof. That's all. I don't want you to make any light of this. This is a very serious thing now.
And 5 payments of $19.99. But
No. Actually, this is one of the few things that's free. We don't charge for it. It's an anointing to be able to put half a house into a minivan. Not everybody can do that. So, we don't.
True.
Yeah.
Not everybody can move your entire house using diaper boxes and your best friend.
Right. See,
as a former employee of Mayflower Van Lines, I can tell you what those guys do is nothing short of artwork.
Yeah. Yeah. So the idea is, are you able to fit 5 pounds into a 2-pound bag?
Yeah. You should see the way I dress. The answer is yes.
I was about to say, have you ever seen women's clothing?
Yeah.
So, anyway, and the world understands differences. The world is more accepting. I can walk into any bar in any city and get drunk the first night for free. Did you know that?
Yep.
Did not know that.
Any bar in any city at any time and get drunk for free the first night.
Oh, yeah.
Not a problem. But can I get fed if I walk into a restaurant?
Nope.
Especially if the restaurant is claiming to be run by somebody who espouses Christ.
Yep.
What will the workers say? Will the workers say, yeah, he talks Jesus, but he lives Satan? See, our walk has to be commensurate with our voice, with our mouth. We have to walk it and talk it. And actually, if we're walking it, we don't have to talk it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. And churches today, we have got to reassert Jesus. The one thing I agree with in the Catholic Church is the homily comes first. It's the only thing I agree with. Everything else you can keep. But the homily, the message is what's the most important thing. But and I'm a victim of it. And I do it. We do everything else first. We welcome the visitors. We take the offering. We have the singing. We have the dancing. And now finally, after your ears are completely folded over, here's the word of God.
Yep.
And don't talk too long, because we have the game at 1.
Yeah.
That was one thing I really enjoyed about the former church I attended, was we flipped all of that on its head, because we believe that you can't truly appreciate what God has done until you've heard the extent of it. So what we would do is we would have an opening song, so just because people are still filing in because nobody ever shows up on time, So we'd have an opening song, and then we would have a video or something of some quick things of hey, here's what we did last week, here's some fun stuff that's happened, not upcoming stuff, but just stuff that's already happened, and kind of thanking God for the stuff that had already happened. And then we would have the message, and then we would have our music, our announcements, our offering, because you can't breathe out without first breathing in, was the idea. And I loved that idea. And if ever I get the chance to fashion a service of my own, I would do it the same way, because I love this idea that now that you've heard the message, now you can appropriately thank God for all of the things, and whatever, by worship, by music, by bringing this. And so now you can get into that proper space because you've already heard the word.
And on the same vein, I attended a church that required, after every sermon, that whoever delivered the sermon would be available for at least an hour afterwards to answer questions.
Yep.
And I love that. You not just preach, but be able to defend or enlighten or fix.
Yeah.
Something that
and that's making the giant leap to suggest that maybe people actually are hungry to understand.
Well, there are churches that have made their life blood out of people not understanding but showing up.
Yeah.
Now, the pastor that told me, listen, you need to stop knocking mega pastors because Jesus preached to 5,000 people. I did not hit him. Your Honor, no, I didn't hit him. No.
Oh, you grew up. No.
I need to stop knocking mega pastors because Jesus preached to 5,000 plus people. Wolf, you want to take that one?
He actually just ran off to get my coffee, so.
Okay.
He will be back in a moment.
Okay. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about that one. Can he hear it? Did he hear the question? He didn't.
No.
Okay. All right. So we got to remember when he comes back to hit him with that one.
Okay.
In the meantime, Brother Dan, what do you think of that?
Well, anyone who envisions them to have the teaching skill, spiritual authority on the same level that Jesus did, yeah, he can do that and be personal. The problem today is that with mega churches, they usher you in and you have to leave right away as soon as the sermon is over to make room for the next seating. And it ceases to be an environment where you can go deep. You can go wide, but you can't go deep. And and that winds up, in my humble opinion, being one of the big problems we have in the corporate church, is that everybody shows up. We want to hear the music. We want the light shows. We want the laser shows. We want the smoke shows. Not so much the word.
All right. The wolf is back. So you want to ask your question?
I had a pastor tell me that I should stop knocking mega preachers and mega churches because Jesus preached to 5,000 people. And I said, I got to hear what you have to say about that.
Oh, well then I would. Well then I would say that man needs to quit knocking missionaries and people that try to go to bars and things like that, because in his time Jesus was known as a whoremonger and a drunkard because he went to the lost. He went to the people that were hurting, that were suffering, the worst of the worst, to the point that he was known as a drunkard and a whoremonger during his earthly life. So if he's going to go by that standard of, well, if it was good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me, then I think he needs to take off the suit and get to a bar and start doing his job.
Wow. Wow.
I love this man.
In a non-sexual way, Brother Wolf, I love you too.
I love you too, brother.
That is insane.
Thank you. Yes, we are.
Yeah, that's insane. That's absolutely the case. If you're going to hold one aspect of Jesus's ministry in front of my face and tell me that if I'm not living up to that one aspect, then, because I had other people say to me, well, Dan, you preach about the Holy Spirit, but how many people have you raised from the dead?
Ooh.
I don't know. Have you got your CPR registered? Wait, that's one thing I love to talk to people about. Well, they're like, we don't see miracles. I'm like, no, because we try to call it science. We try to call it medicine. We try to call it all these things. And I'm like, okay, if you think about it, CPR is a miracle in and of itself. You are bringing a dead person back to life every time you successfully use CPR, right?
Yep.
But we just call that medicine. We just call that a daily part of life. I'm sorry, but a medication that can take away bacteria that should have killed me, all because I had a little needle put into my arm with a little tiny plastic tube, and there's a tube and there's a bag hanging with medicine in it that I have no idea how you make that, and it goes into my body and it destroys all the bad things and makes me feel better and keeps me alive. I'm sorry, that's a miracle. Now, is it science too? Absolutely. God created science. But that's a miracle. And we see them every single day. But because they're not flashy and big and whatever, they become so mundane that we don't see them for what they are anymore.
We can't see the real unicorn because we're looking at the painted horse.
Exactly. Can't see the forest for the trees.
No. The miracles happen when a pastor gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go use the bathroom and is urged to pray and praise, and somebody on the other side of the world that he doesn't know anything about has their life changed because he prayed.
Yep.
You're not going to know, and you shouldn't know. I should not know the outcome of all of my actions because I'll either walk hand in hand into a chopper blade or I'll think I'm all that. And both of them are wrong.
That was part of what I preached on Mother's Day, actually, was that one of the things that we are supposed to be as Christians is a lighthouse. And a lighthouse doesn't go out and save the ships. It doesn't look for ships to save. It stands and shines, and it warns ships of danger, but also of safe harbor. And the thing is, it only exists because of darkness and storms. But the thing is, a ship, the lighthouse may never see the ships that it's saving. It may never see them at all because of the darkness and the storms. But the ship sees the lighthouse, and that's the point.
Yeah. But see, some of us don't want to be lighthouses because lighthouses are boring. They just...
Oh, yeah. They stand in one spot and they do one job, and that's all they do.
And that's all they do.
They're not renowned. They're not all these things. And it's a lonely life, and it is. And it's a hard life. because you are being battered by the same darkness and storms, but you have the foundation on the rock.
Yeah. I just sent you and Dan both a link that's supposed to link you to the website. If you could share it with somebody who could try it and call in, we can see how well this works. Because if this works, this is a game changer for Sound Travels. It means that people from all over the world can get this link and call in at the same time, and our 3 lines now become 3,000.
Nice.
Okay.
So somebody send it to somebody and have them try it and see if it can get in and see what works. So where do we go from here? How do we do it better? How do we do it differently? How do we do it right? How do we do it right? Now, I believe that the 4 of us here, the 5 of us with Bishop, I believe that we understand what we're trying to accomplish when we minister. I did something that I don't do as often as I should. I was reaching out to a brother on Labor Day. When I went to the house I had to go to a house in Randolph to pick up a vehicle, and the brother was there, and I was talking to him, and I just asked him point blank, if you died today, if you died tonight, what would happen? Where would your soul be? Now, and I also said, now this presupposes that you actually believe in a soul, that you have a soul, and that you care about you believe in an afterlife. Now, if you don't believe that you have a soul and you don't believe in an afterlife, just tell me. Those are not things I'm concerned about, and we'll talk about engines and the weather and, howdy-doody. I don't have an issue with that. But if you tell me you do believe that you have a soul and you think you're headed to hell, I'm obligated to say you don't have to go to hell. It's not required. It's not written in the book that you go to hell. You can choose it. You can choose to go to hell, but you don't have to. Hell wasn't created for you. So why aren't you saved? Well, I said, okay, let me answer the question for you. You don't want to stop doing whatever it is you're doing that you think would keep you out of heaven. And I enumerated a few things, but I'm on the radio, so I'm not going to do that. And that's the answer. People don't want to be saved, not because they don't want to be saved. They don't want to be saved because they don't want to stop doing that which makes them feel good. Or worse, that which makes them feel important.
Or I would even say the other side of that is doing the right thing that everyone has made into being the wrong thing, and they don't feel that they're worthy of it because of it.
Oh, yes.
And because they know what they did was the right thing to do, but people demonized them for it, and therefore they don't think they can be saved because now, what else is there? They're like, well, I did this thing, and I was demonized by it, so I'm still going to go to hell, even though I did the right thing, so why would I just give myself false hope? I've heard that more often than anything.
I have heard that, and in the movie Gandhi, there's an excellent scene where this man comes to Gandhi and he says, Father, eat. You should eat because I'm going to hell and you don't have to. And so Gandhi questions him and he says, I bashed a baby's head in, a young child's head in a rage against my enemy. And Gandhi says to him, I know a way out of hell. Find a child who's been left orphaned by this war, by this turmoil, and raise him and love him and take him into your home. But only be sure that he is Muslim and that you raise him as such. And obviously that stuck with me because that is the perfect path out of hell. There's nothing that we've done. There's nothing. Let me say this again. There's nothing that we have done that keeps us out of hell. It's what we won't do. Somebody dead
That'll
air.
preach in and of itself.
Pardon?
I said that'll preach in and of itself.
Well,
It's relationship, not actions.
And it's not just relationship. It's do you love someone enough to make them uncomfortable and to make them mad?
yes.
That's kind
Apparently, I
of
love everybody I come in contact with because I make them uncomfortable and mad.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, because you're either going to make someone uncomfortable by asking the hard questions, or you're going to make them mad because you're challenging their entire belief system and life view.
Yeah.
And so you're going to do one or the other. Even if they are ready to be saved, even if they're searching, it's still going to make them uncomfortable, because the fact of the matter is, when we get saved, the old man dies, and death is not comfortable.
Well, the old man dies, but you'd be amazed how much light support we put on him. We put that sucker.
Yeah.
We put that sucker in an oxygen tent. We hook up the cables. The old man's dead, but we are still constantly reviving him. And sometimes we do it without even knowing about it. I know I've said it, and I know don't make me go back to Cleveland, because you won't like me if I go back to Cleveland. Well, the reality of it is, why should I have to go back to Cleveland? Why can't I go forward to Christ?
Mm-hmm.
You're still not going to like me, but my soul is no longer in danger.
Mm-hmm. That's because
Right.
people want you to atone for every sin, even though God has already covered them and washed them clean. People have a longer memory. God can forgive and forget. People can't.
Yeah. Well, I'll forgive you, but I ain't forgetting.
Uh-huh. Which, to be fair, as a human, we're actually told. We're told to be as innocent as doves and as wise as serpents. We're told, yeah, you can forgive someone and you can restore them as a brother, but you do not have to give them the exact same access into your life if you know or if you believe that they're still going to be a snake eventually. You can forgive them, but don't let them back into your life to hurt your family or your kids, or, you know, it doesn't say don't have boundaries.
You don't let the enemy in your camp.
Exactly.
It's not to say that
but
you don't
can
love
them
your
and
enemy.
you can feed them and you can care for them and you can do what you need to do without putting your children in harm. You know.
Lovest thou me? Well, of course I love you. Feed my sheep.
Yep.
Lovest thou me? Yes, I love you. Feed my lambs. Lovest thou me? And he said, I got, well, you know all things. You know I love you. Then feed my children. Agape, phileo. And we don't know that. We don't understand that.
Huh.
Did I get it? Did I get it right, Chaplain Nero? Did I get it right? Because
yep.
All right, because sometimes Brother Wolf.
Agape, phileo, and eros.
Yeah.
It's the three forms of love.
Yeah, but
physical, emotional, and spiritual.
Yeah, but the two that Jesus was asking Peter in his Restoro state. He tried agape first time, and Peter can't live, and Peter can't do that. Peter cannot. We can't accept the fact that it's agape because we've denied him so many times. But we can accept the fact that it's brother. So Jesus, in his infinite wisdom, and he brings himself to a level where Peter can. Sometimes we have to be very mindful as leaders that we don't position ourselves so high up that we don't understand the person in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a problem because as many people who come to the church for salvation, there's even more that come for ripping off, for playing a game. Either blatantly, I'm broke, I need money, church give me money, I showed up twice. Or subterfugely, where it's I'm a loyal, faithful member, so now you need to pay my rent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is your rent late? How many
Because I
meals?
spent it gambling.
Yeah. How many meals did you miss? How'd you get into? Well, you can't ask me. I had someone tell me, don't ask me all this private stuff. Are you giving me the money or not? And I said, oh, gee, thank you. I was very concerned how I was going to handle this. You've made it so much easier. Not.
That's right.
Not. Well, that's not, you're supposed to be the pastor. That's not pastoral. That's not proper. You're supposed to be out there helping people like me. I looked them dead in the face. There's no one like you.
All right, gentlemen, I just wanted to take a sec and say that I am about to head to work. Thank you guys for having me. I love y'all. Have a good week.
Okay, what you do? What you off to work at?
So both Wolf and I are property inspectors.
Oh, go inspect property.
So it's actually quite fun. We get to drive all over Ohio, which is fun. We get paid mileage, though, so that's nice. But, yeah, we get to go be creepers and take pictures of people's properties. It's great.
Oh, cool.
Get the cops called on us, all the
All
fun.
right. You don't have infrared cameras, do you? Okay, well, never mind. You're not looking.
No,
you're not looking through walls or nothing like that.
No, I'm looking at the outside of the wall with, the fact that all your shingles is falling off your house.
Hey. Well, okay, Brother Wolf. Thanks for joining us. And you can hear the playback. You can I sent you links to the playback, which I haven't sent for this hour because I haven't seen it. Let me see where this hour is. I haven't. No one so far has tried to call in, so I don't know. Don't forget to tell people about it. Yes, I've been telling people about it. Thank you. People about what?
I've shared it a few times.
Oh yes, we're still working on this. The barbecue contest for the 4th and 5th of September. We're definitely still working on that. Amateur barbecue contest, and there'll be more as we get closer to the event. But it's going to be the first amateur barbecue contest. No pit masters allowed. They can be judges, but you can't participate. If you work at a barbecue place, as long as you're not the pit master, you can participate. We're looking for backyard barbecue people who think they got it like that. First prize, grand prize, is going to be $600 in cash. Wow. And a belt.
I got to tell you a funny story.
Are you sure you can do that?
Yeah. My brother in Ohio. He does ribs. That's his thing.
Well, tell him to come to the contest.
Yeah, he got his recipe from a place down in South Alabama where we both used to go and hunt, and they would have family shindigs and whatnot, and it took forever to get the old man to tell us the recipe. So, skipping ahead to when I live in Massachusetts, he comes over for a visit, and we're going to have a little cook-off. We got 2 smokers, and I got my deal going in one smoker, and he's got his going in another, and we're gonna duke it out and see who does the best.
What'd you say, Chaplain Nira?
I said a Canadian man and an Alabaman man.
Oh, this ought to be interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them with no clue and one of them with all the answers.
Yeah. Let's just say that when I opened up my smoker, my ribs burst into flames as soon as the oxygen hit them. I still hear about that every time
well, I guess you would.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to save him the embarrassment. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So, anyway.
You're supposed to smoke them, not cremate them.
Yeah.
Nuke them. Nuke them all.
That's yeah, and that's how I got my middle name. So, just spelled differently.
Let me see here. I'm trying to see. I was trying to look for the link where I could send it off and Brother Wolf can listen in the radio, but I don't see it. Let me ask where, let me see if he sent it this way. Okay, this looks like it. This looks like the latest one. All right, I found the latest one. So, where are we at here? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? How do we fix it? How do we be the voice crying in the wilderness? How do we get the churches to realize that they're the problem?
We just go up and tell them, Dan. You go first.
We pull a John the Baptist now.
Yeah, we stand in the corner. We stand in the middle of the street proclaiming.
No, we do the first thing first, and we do the first thing right. That's what we do. We start at the very beginning, and we treat people exactly as they are. Little children, some of them know better, and some of them don't. And we treat them accordingly. We love the hell out of them, literally, and we go from there.
Love the hell out of them. That ain't easy to do.
No, it's not, because we're still full of it ourselves.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly where I was going. How are you going to love the hell out of somebody when you're full of it yourself?
And that's where Jesus comes in.
Yeah.
I heard a pastor say one time, he said there's 5 Gospels. He said a lot of people think there's only 4 in the Bible, but there's 5 Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and you. And most people will never read the first 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what gospel are you preaching?
And what gospel are you living? What gospel are you demonstrating? What gospel are you standing in and stepping in? I don't know if I'm about to ruin my reward or not, but while driving home, coming up out of the tunnel, I noticed a car that was sitting off to the side with its blinkers going because it had a flat tire. A lady was behind it and she was on the phone. Coming up out of that tunnel, people accelerate going up a hill. And it was scary. So I stopped and I did something even scarier. I backed my truck up behind, and that was scary in and of itself. I backed my truck up and got it like 2 car lengths behind her, maybe 3. And I realized even that wasn't enough. So I got out and I went further down and started waving people over and away. And it was scary because there are people who almost hit me. Coming up out of that tunnel, you're climbing a hill, so you're accelerating. You're finally out in the open so you can see. It's just a lot of dynamics going on here. And people were reacting at the last minute, getting over. Finally, thank you, Jesus, a statey showed up, put his lights on, and I once he was there, I wasn't necessary, so I jumped. But you could see the gratitude on the person's face as I drove by. Yep. She had her hands clasped, saying, "Thank you, thank you," and I get it because it was scaring me. And I have, I realized I don't even think I parked my truck far enough back at 3 car lengths. And locked the brakes up and all of that stuff. If you had hit it, and then of course the legal ramifications. Did I create a bigger hazard than I tried to resolve? All of that. Yeah. None of it I thought about. All I saw was this person who was sitting in this car who was going to get hit if somebody didn't step in.
Yeah.
She doesn't know who I am to this day. She doesn't know anything about me. All she knows is some black guy in a silver sport track or a gray sport track did what he did.
Yeah.
And really, that's all she needs to know.
That's the beauty of it. And so I used to read daily the My Utmost for His Highest by Oswald Chambers. And I love that book, and I love the devotionals in it. And there's one of them that says, if you are not willing to be broken bread and poured out wine, referencing communion, referencing the Passover, he said, if you're not willing to do those things until others are able to find the source, the real broken bread and poured out wine, he said, then you are not ready to be called a son of God. Because people are going to feed off of you until they find the source for the living water.
Yeah.
They're never going to. And so unless you're willing to be Jesus to them until they find him, then you're not ready to be called a son of God.
Yeah. What is an example of your relationship? Is it your preaching? Is it your teaching? Is it your giving? Is it your living?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of it is, it's all of those.
Yeah.
It's even in your sinning.
Yeah.
It's even in your humanness, your humanity, getting it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Because if they don't see us failing, then they don't see the path to forgiveness and restoration.
Yeah.
And then they believe that there's no hope.
I met a person who is trying to be a public speaker, and he was perfect. His hair was coiffed, his suit matched, everything was in place, and his speech was good. He didn't win. He didn't even place.
Relatable.
He wasn't relatable. Thank you. And I said, you've got to, there's nothing, your weakness is not your technique. You got to make me care, or at least make me want to care.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Christ, we have to make them care or want to care. And we don't do that. The church does not do that the way it's been done. We're a country club. We're a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon country club where we get together, my 5 people or my 8 people or my 15 people or my 500 people. We get together and we have church.
Yep. We want to feel good.
Yeah.
I want to get my Jesus on.
Yeah. I've heard that said. I wanted to
I
slap
hate
him.
that phrase. I hate that phrase.
Yeah, I wanted to slap him. You want to get your Jesus
He's
on
not
and go
just-
home and stand in front of a mirror.
Yeah, it's like, it's not a costume that you put on and take off. It is literally death to life. Like, that is so different because I'm not who I was. The old me died. It is never coming back. I am a new creation. I still suck, but I am a new creation. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. And it's like, that was actually a whole mind-blown scenario that God showed me once. Because I was sitting there and I was like, okay, God, why do you allow these people to get away with stuff on this side of heaven? Now, I know that people are going to get true justice at the judge. I know that. But I was like, okay, God, there are certain types of people that, you know, let's just say ones that harm children in nefarious ways. I said, God, why do you allow them to get away with not having justice here? And I was like, okay, you know, for example, what if they become a Christian? What if they get saved? Where is the justice for their actions? Those who've never been, you know, seen in a court of law, things like that, right? And God just said, they do get their justice. They die. And I was like, what? And he said, they die. When they get saved, they die. The person that did those things dies when they accept me. They are getting their justice. Now, the consequences for their actions still can follow them and all this. He said, but the one that did those died already. What more justice do you want? He got the death penalty.
That is an.
And it changed my way of thinking
That
about
is a
salvation.
very good way of looking at it. I hadn't thought of that. Thank you.
I mean, I had to sit with that.
That helps.
Mad about it.
No, I have to think. I ain't got. See, that's the difference between men and women. You said it. It makes sense. We're good.
Oh, I sat with that one for several days. I'm like, but
Now,
but
I
that
ain't got to sit with it a
enough for
minute.
me.
I ain't got to sit with it 1 minute, iota. You said it. It makes sense. We're good. You're absolutely right. They die. What more penalty is there? They're dead. They don't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. And like you said, the state has its own rules, and you still have to pay the consequences for your actions. The person who spent his entire life involved in an aberrant lifestyle and dies of AIDS, I'm seen as not compassionate because they died of a disease that they didn't have to get. But based on what they were doing, they were more prone to it. And because they were more prone to it, they got the disease. And because they got the disease, it killed them. And it doesn't matter that they were in an aberrant or a different lifestyle, because the whore does the same thing. The whoremonger does the same thing. And just to make it fair, just to make it absolutely 100% fair, the born-again Christian pastor who needs a transfusion and gets the tainted blood pays the same price.
Yep.
How could a righteous, all-knowing, and all-loving God allow a tainted blood to kill an otherwise righteous man? He's done nothing. And Jesus answered that. And they said, Master, who sinned? Was it that this person is blind? Who sinned? Whose fault is this? Was it the parents? Was it him? Who sinned? And what did he respond?
All for the glory of God.
Yeah.
So that you might believe.
So that you might believe. And we have, as Brother Dan would say, we have to sit with that a minute. Because he ain't do nothing. He didn't live a life. He just didn't. And he's dying of the same penalty, the same consequence that somebody was out there that was doing it 3 a day and 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And you say we serve a righteous and unknowing God?
We
Because
do.
the beauty is there is salvation. There is freedom on the other side. And there doesn't have to be, because we don't deserve it. On our best day, we don't deserve it.
Yeah, people forget the fact that the only thing in this existence of ours that we have a right to is we have the right to reject the gift of God in salvation. We have the right to go climb up on a cross that bears our name and pay a terrible price for our sins. That we have a right to do that anytime we want. Everything else is grace. Everything else is a free gift.
The time we get to make that choice in and of itself is a gift.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Because he doesn't have to let us live.
Nope.
There's nothing
He might us first sin.
Yeah. We've done nothing to warrant salvation. We've done nothing to warrant grace. We've done nothing to warrant mercy. And if we did something to warrant it, it wouldn't be salvation, grace, or mercy.
Yep. Absolutely.
So this is the message. This is what church is supposed to be saying. This is what churches are supposed to be doing. This is how we transform a whole world by living the commission.
Mm-hmm.
Go ye into all the world and create a mega church. Nope.
Go write a book.
Go ye all the world and write a book. Go ye all the world and record a song. It's not what it says. Preaching and teaching all that I have shown you, that you can grasp. Because let's face it, the disciples were they were not at the top of the food chain when it came to grasping.
Right.
Are we?
How about that? How about that? Are we? And we all know the answer to that. And the answer is go pray.
I might be graduated, but I ain't intelligent someday.
Yeah, I may be up there, but I ain't ascended. Well, listen, it has been a wonderful time. We have a few minutes. Chaplain Nera, would you take us to the throne of grace, please?
Absolutely.
Take about a minute.
Abba, we love you. Thank you for the opportunity that you've given us to share our humanity, to share our testimonies, our stories, the things that we've lived through, to hopefully bring a light to those in this very dark world, to show them there is hope, there is joy, there is love, there is laughter, there is unity, when there should be everything that should be dividing us right now. God, you are the one unifier. You are God. You are love and light and beauty and grace and mercy that we do not deserve. Thank you for that. Thank you for the gift that you've given us in salvation. And God, give us more opportunities to share what you have done truthfully and honestly and bravely in this very scary world that is what we live in. God, grant us blessings, grant us opportunities, and give us the grace to come back next week and continue to do so. In your wonderful and holy name of Jesus. Amen.
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 Oh, boy.